This GBVIMS video short is an overview of data protection practices. Let's start with a definition. Data protection is the act of protecting information and how it's collected, stored, used, and shared. A significant amount of information is captured about survivors and beneficiaries through the course of our work. Policies, protocols, and practices on data protection are essential to our work because unprotected data, or the unauthorized access, use, or sharing, can endanger survivors, staff, and the sustainability of programming. Beyond threat of harm, it's our responsibility to collect only what is safe, ethical, and actionable, but also only what we can realistically protect to ensure survivor information is not abused. Protecting the data of the survivors and beneficiaries we work with can be a challenge, especially so when there's a lack of policies or guidance on data protection in highly insecure environments and when resources are limited. It doesn't mean that data is never shared. Rather, data protection is critical to ensure that data can be shared in a safe and ethical way to improve programming interventions for the same populations we're working to protect. When is data? Data can be considered protected when there's a clear purpose for collection, there are limits to what is being collected, safe, ethical, actionable, and consented to. Third, when the information is secure, meaning when there are reasonable safeguards in place to protect from unauthorized access, use, or sharing, or unauthorized destruction or loss. When survivors are informed about their rights and their rights are respected. And policies, protocols, and/or practices are implemented and effective in regulating the collection and use and sharing of information. So let's go through some of the data protection checklist questions together. Several tools that might be of use to you in your programming. One of the first questions you might ask yourself is, are survivor records and files stored in a safe location? Is access limited to authorized staff? Are office in locations where doors can be locked and filing cabinets can be locked and computers can be protected? Are electronic devices with survivor information locked in a safe location? This includes laptops, external hard drives, or flash drives. Computers, laptops, or programs storing information protected. Another big question. Is there a staff data protection agreement implemented? Staff interacting with information and stored in HR files. Have staff been trained on confidentiality, informed consent, and the process for informed consent? And implemented. Are staff informed about and comfortable discussing applicable local mandatory reporting mechanisms? Local mandatory reporting and how it's applied. Have the risks to survivors of mandatory reporting been discussed in the program? Is there a protocol for the safe destruction of paper forms? Are staff aware of this, the appropriate times and places to do this? And is there an emergency protocol in place for their safe destruction? Are electronic case management systems protected? Do they have a required login and graduated access depending on the role? Do you routinely back up data? How often? And is it backed up to a safe location? Survivors in terms of the storage and sharing. That includes their right to request their story or any part not to be documented, their right to refuse to answer, but they prefer not to, their right to tell the caseworker when they need to slow down, their right to ask questions or ask for explanations at any time, the right to request that a different caseworker be assigned to the case, their right to refuse referrals without affecting our willingness to continue to work with them, and their right to access their personal information and request deletion. And then finally, are you aware of the applicable data protection laws in your country of operation? What are they? Have they been discussed in the program? Data protection and data security is the responsibility of every staff member who works with survivors or who has access to their information. Staff should be clear about why they are collecting data and shouldn't collect or share any information other than in accordance with the best practices and international standards. Data on gender-based violence is particularly sensitive. It should only be collected, stored, or shared with the individual's explicit written consent, adhering to the principles of need to know, and according to protocols developed in country. For this reason, it's a good idea to have staff data protection agreement that confirms each staff member's understanding and agreement to the data protection principles. What you see here are just a sample of some of the things that you might include in a staff data protection agreement. Another resource to have in place is a data protection protocol. Sometimes this is included as an amendment to the information sharing protocol. The data protection protocol should cover general data protection, paper file data protection, and electronic data protection. A few examples of some of the provisions included here are: all staff in contact with the data have a strong understanding of the sensitive nature of the data, the importance of data confidentiality, and security. Staff understand that all cases will be allocated a code based upon a standard coding format, and that the code should be used to refer to the cases either verbally or on paper, in place of any identifying information such as names. Paper files are kept in a locked cabinet or drawer, accessible only to responsible authorized individuals. All computers being used for data storage are protected with strong case-sensitive and special character-included passwords. All computers have antivirus protection installed and active. And that all computers have the latest software updates and security patches. So this is a preview of some of the data protection resources that are available to you, and we hope that you're implementing in your programs. Thanks for watching this GBVIMS video short. If you're interested in these resources, they're available on the GBVIMS website under the Data Protection section. As always, be responsible with your data and learn more at gbvims.com.